So it's been pretty standard stuff over here, just in Cycle Bar with my salad. I have horrific news. This salad place is shutting down. They've been open literally since I was in high school. I guess our little salad chats are coming to an end soon, or I'm gonna have to find a new place to go. So I didn't really have anything to talk about this week because I am not doing anything different. I'm literally just running. I got my hair done, so that's cool. But I'm just running, easy miles, and then I had like a 15-miler this weekend, and we hiked Castle Peak. It was super fun and really cool. Here's a picture from that. Isn't that neat? Isn't that awesome? So yeah, I was thinking maybe this week what I'll do is I'll share my best tips, my best marathon training tips, for people who are maybe new to the marathon or who are just getting started. Yeah, top marathon training tips and what I have learned over 3 marathons. That's all I've done so far. So, I'm not the expert, but I definitely know more than I did last year, and I know more than I did before the LA Marathon. So I'm also just gonna move the camera right over here. I made a video probably like a year ago that was like how I got into the Boston Marathon after my first try. And I gave all this advice that I do not want anyone to listen to. It is dumb advice. Like, I've learned a lot about running since getting back from the Boston Marathon and getting coaches and stuff, and I gave really bad advice. So please don't watch that video. Please don't listen to it. I re-watch it, and I just think, I hope that no one has gotten injured or hates me because they followed my advice and got hurt. Like, that's literally a recipe for getting hurt. So here's an updated, I learned more about running in the past year and a half, and consider myself like a student of the sport now. Listen to podcasts, I read books, I'm in it, I am a runner, I'm committed. I'm gonna get it tatted on my forehead basically. And I made 10 tips that you can pull into your first marathon, into your 100th marathon, and I hope that you enjoy. So here are 10 marathon training tips with Bree. Tip number 1. Don't rely on your own knowledge or accountability. Get a coach. Seriously, getting a coach was the best thing that I ever did for my running in terms of staying accountable to my training plan. Oh, hello, huge. I'm just gonna eat while I talk to you guys if that's cool. Get a coach. Find a coach who has athletes who have done well underneath them and who maybe have a track record for not getting people injured, because sometimes coaches maybe don't know what they're doing. A lot of them do. Look for certifications, look for education on the sport. Don't just look for people who are fast and who are trying to sell some kind of weird process to getting as fast as them, because some people are just genetically gifted. That doesn't necessarily make them good coaches just because they're good athletes. So find a coach who has a resume with athletes underneath them who have done well, who have finished marathons, right? If that's what your goal is. And maybe find a coach, if you have a specific goal, find a coach who's helped people achieve those specific goals. How to find these coaches? I don't really know. Maybe Instagram. Maybe you could hire me. Oh, that's an idea. Although I don't have any certifications, so I would just kind of wing it. Okay, so this is gonna apply to if you're trying to get faster and you have, let's say, a goal marathon pace. This is really important. My coach follows the Jack Daniels running formula, which is just basically a scientifically proven way of getting faster and not injuring yourself quite as much as maybe other ways to get faster or something. I don't know. So your body has a certain aerobic capacity, and it maxes out at some point. There's a point where you can't go faster, you can't run faster, and you can only hold a certain pace for a certain amount of time before your body starts breaking down and starts hurting itself. So you want to find out what that is for you right now, and you want to run that pace, not that fast pace, but you want to run within that realm of doing your best without hurting yourself if you're trying to get faster. So the way that you can do that, I'm trying not to overcomplicate this, but it's basically the Jack Daniels running formula. You want to find your VO2 max, which is your V dot number or whatever, and you can find that by doing a VO2 max test at like an exercise facility or maybe a nearby college. Sometimes they have like physiology classes that will run them for you, or kinesiology or whatever, I don't know. I was a business student. I never took those classes. I got out of science as fast as possible. So you do a VO2 max test, or you can do a race and you can run, let's say a 5K, and just max out, like run as hard as you freaking can, get the best time possible. And then you are going to find your VO2 max based on that pace or based on that test. So for example, I ran a half marathon in 1:29, and that bumped my VO2 max up to 51.6 or something. My Garmin says it's 57, but I don't trust my Garmin as much as I trust this other system. So then I have my VO2 max, and then I can plug that in to the Jack Daniels running formula calculator to tell me how fast I, right now, with my current fitness level, would be able to run a marathon, a half marathon, a 5K, a 10K, whatever. So it's really helpful just for understanding where your body is at right now. And you want to make sure that you are training at the paces that you are physically able to maintain now. So you'll get like an interval pace, you'll get a repetitions pace, different kinds of workouts that you can do, and those are going to be dictated based on what you're physically capable of doing now, as opposed to saying you have a goal marathon pace and you're going to train at all the paces that are in conjunction. You know, your 5K, 10K, half marathon goal pace is all along the same trajectory as your goal marathon pace, if that makes sense, the same scale. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to have a goal pace that you're physically not able to do right now, because what you're going to do is overexert your body. You are going to be wearing yourself thin and physically just overexerting yourself to the point where you might injure yourself or burn out, or just not be able to do any of the workouts that you're trying to do, because you're trying to run at a goal pace as opposed to what you are physically capable of doing. So if you actually want to get faster, hire a coach who uses a method that is scientifically proven, like the Jack Daniels running formula or something similar, and follow a formula, follow the science. Don't listen to BS, hearsay, or bro science or whatever. If you want to get faster, you have to run faster, but not run so fast that you break yourself down and can't recover. So it is like this weird teeter-tottering thing that you're going to be doing, but make sure that you're using science for your running so that you're not just kind of pushing yourself for no reason to get no return. So those are the first 2 points, and I've already been talking for 8 minutes. Training for a marathon can be really stressful, physically, obviously, because you're just running a lot. So try to balance your life stress with your marathon stress, because stress at the end of the day is taxing on your body. So if you're really stressed at work, or you're really stressed at home, or you're really stressed, just in life, whatever that might be, and on top of that, you're trying to train for a marathon, you might wear yourself down really, really fast. So try your best to balance that stress, and if you can't find balance and you're just burnt out and you're just toasted, every single week you lay down and you just like, I can't believe I did that, don't think I can do it again, maybe wait. Marathons are a lot of work to train for. It's a lot. Physically, it's a lot. Mentally, it's a lot. Emotionally, it's a lot. And if you have a lot of stressful stuff happening in your life on top of that, it might be too much. Just be honest with yourself. There's always time to run a marathon or train for one. So just try to balance that stress if you can. So what I do when I'm in marathon training, I prioritize my sleep over everything. Like, I know that sleep is when my body is going to recover the fastest and the best. And so I want high quality sleep. I want a lot of sleep. I'll sleep for like 9.5 hours a night, which I've never done in my entire life until I started marathon training. I used to be like a 7-8 hour a night girl. And now I'm sleeping like 9.5 hours. I'm just setting my alarm for like 10 hours after I go to bed, thinking like, there's no way that my alarm will wake me up. I'll wake up naturally. And sometimes my alarm wakes me up and I'm like, holy crap, I slept for so long. That's so crazy. And I'll have all these weird dreams, and it's because I eat too close to bed. But anyway, tip number 4, prehab. So prehab is what you can imagine. It's like rehab, but it's pre-rehab, okay? You get it. So basically these are exercises and stretches and things that you can do to prevent getting an injury. So one of the things that I do is I try to use voodoo floss on my calves and on my ankles because they're really, really tight. I try to stretch, I try to foam roll before and after every run for 2 or 3 minutes. Am I good at doing that? Absolutely not. Have I foam rolled in the past week? Maybe like one time. But I should be doing it more, and you probably should too. I don't think any of us foam roll enough. So prehab. And you can find those exercises, things that you should be doing, just like do a Google search, or if you have any things that you're concerned about, take the time to go see a physical therapist and talk to them about your goals, and maybe you'll then have a doctor who knows like where your starting point is. So if you do start feeling pain in some areas, they know kind of where you are right now. So it would be helpful. Go to a PT, get some prehab exercises, or just like a sports therapy doctor or something. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna eat a little bit. Hold up. I feel like I have to have little moments of Ella in every video because every time I look back on them, those are my favorite moments. So I'm gonna insert that here. How's my girl? What have you been doing? Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you, dog. What's on your face? What is this? What is this? Don't eat it. That's gross. You don't know what it is. Are you a good girl? Huh? Oh, were you sleeping? Were you sleeping? Because you're just a sleepy little dog. Are you just a sleepy little dog? Do you like it under scratches? Oh, this? Come here. Don't overthink it. Tip number 5. The running world, I feel like, loves to overcomplicate running, which it is complicated, I'll give it that. But you get better at running by running. Not by rowing, not by swimming, not by biking, indoor cycling. I mean, obviously I'm a huge constituent for indoor cycling, but that's not how you get better at running. You're gonna get better at running by running. So don't overthink it. If you're ever wondering, I wonder if I'm supposed to run today or if I should not run. If you feel fine, if your body is up for it, go running. Do the thing that you wanna be good at. Don't overthink it. That's the other benefit of getting a coach. They think for you. You literally just have to do what they tell you to do. So, back to tip number 1. Get a coach. Tip number 6. Recognize moments in training when you are mental training more than physically training. Like those runs that you have to go on when you're really kind of tired or you feel exhausted, or maybe you had a really hard run the day before and maybe your body feels up for it but it feels really exhausted. Those are moments when you're practicing mind over matter, and not every single run is gonna be to physically push you to the next level, but it might be a mental thing. So just recognize, like, it takes a lot to get through the marathon. It takes a lot of mental just strength. Honestly, when you're at mile 20 and you have 6 more miles to go and you realize the math puts that at like about an hour, and you have been doing this for about 3 hours maybe, and you have another hour to go, it can get really dirty and gritty. So you need to be ready to face that challenge head on. Are you gonna keep going, or are you gonna turn around? So I think it's important to be aware in training, there might be moments when you think, oh, I could just slow down, I could just stop, I could just call this a day and go home and finish the last couple miles, you know, or just call it off for the last couple miles. That might be an opportunity for your brain to just get better at resilience and endurance. So just recognize those important moments. Tip number 7 is work on nutrition and hydration early, because the worst thing is showing up to a race and not really knowing how things are going to respond when you're running. So get stuff early, start experimenting early, start using goos early. The rule of thumb, I think, is like 200 calories an hour, which is a freaking lot to eat while you're running. Honestly, I have a really hard time doing more than 100 calories an hour. So I'm working on that right now. I wish I had started earlier. So that's tip number 7. Tip number 8 is nothing new on race day. Kind of going along with the nutrition hydration thing, what you wear, what you eat, what you drink, what you eat before you race, what you eat the night before. Don't mess around with anything new before you race, because this is it. This is go, you know, it's go time. You should kind of know, you should have a game plan for what to eat, but also be ready for a bunch of different kinds of stuff to be thrown your way. Be ready for the stuff that you might not be ready for. Be ready to get your shit rocked, basically, because that is what happened. Tip number 9. I have a hair on me somewhere. It's annoying. It's fine. Tip number 9. Find friends, because running is better with friends. Which is easy to say, kind of difficult to do. Obviously, putting yourself out there socially is hard, even when you don't have running involved. And it's like, well, are they going to run the same pace as me? Like, am I going to slow them down? Am I going to be faster than them? Like, there's all this stress. Just find people to start your run with. And then if you end up, you know, breaking off from each other at a certain point, who cares? Just, it's more fun to run when you have people with you. So find people who you can run with, because it just makes it a lot easier. You can join a club. There's lots of running clubs throughout the country. You can post on Facebook that you're training for something, see if anyone wants to come along, or you can sign up for a race with one of your friends who lives nearby. I don't know your life. Just find people. Quit being a little pansy about it. Just find people and ask them if they want to run with you. And that brings me to my final tip, number 10. Wow, we made it so far. Don't compare yourself. So you're going to be running with people. You're going to be running with people during the race. You might be running with people during training. You might be checking people out on Strava. You might be following people on Instagram, and you're like, wow, they're fast. They're so cool. They got a six-pack. Don't compare yourself to other runners. You are uniquely made. Your body is unique to you, and your ability to perform is unique to you. So don't compare your paces. Don't compare yourself to other runners. Just try to get in the zone, get in the auto zone, get in the zone. I don't know why every time I keep saying get in the zone, I just think auto zone. Like, they have 100%. That advertising worked on me 100%. Subliminally, it's here. If I ever need card help, I'm going to auto zone. Anyway, get in the zone. Do not compare yourself. You are in your own lane. Running is really you versus that distance or that workout, not you versus anybody else, although sometimes healthy competition can help you go faster. But don't compare yourself, and just run and make it happen. So that's it. Those are my marathon training tips. 10 tips to help you. Most important tip is hire a coach. So I am planning on getting certified as a coach at some point. I think I really enjoy this Jack Daniel's running formula because it's so scientific. But right now my coach is Sarah Bishop. She's this like badass female triathlete who won nationals or something. I don't know. She's just like killing the game. But she also has a bunch of athletes who are doing really well. So think about it. You know, hire a coach. They'll help you. You can always DM me on Instagram If you really need something, I'll probably respond, but I don't know. So that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Here's a little bit more of Ella. Enjoy. Just the cutest little dog. Look at that tail. Look at that tail. Look at that cute little tail.